So our theme for this month is home. And back in March when we were purchasing this building, I looked at the calendar and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we were in our building for the month that we're talking about home? And I even wrote it on my calendar. I even wrote it on my online calendar that this was the month that we would be in our home. And we're not quite there yet. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the progress that's been made. We did get some good news this week. We had been waiting for one of the planners from the Planning Commission, the permit office, to be assigned to us, and that has happened. So that's a good step in the right step forward. With that, we also found out that we're just they're waiting for a few documents and a few things to be clarified, and then we will be assigned our date for our county commission meeting and our town hall meeting to get the special use permit that we need to occupy a building as a church in the Las Vegas area. So those two things are happening, and so we've made forward progress. You know, as we've gone from this time from March to now, sometimes I feel like it's been dragging, like it's taking forever for this to happen. And then I look back at it and I actually start to figure this out, and the purchase of the building was completed the last week of June, and here we are in November. This is actually just the 5th month since the purchase was completed, and so we're really not that far off in the process. We're about 2 months more than what they anticipated us being because of we found out that some new ordinance or something was passed in September, which has delayed everything a little bit. The county permit offices have been trying to keep up with that. So in all actuality, we're in a really good place with all of this. And I know that many people were leery about coming out today because of the cold. And your leadership council has been really looking at different alternatives for meeting here in the parking lot. And quite honestly, none of them are good solutions. We've looked at the library spaces, but we can't book the same library every Sunday. You can only book 45 days in advance, and quite honestly, 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning is a sought-after time slot for the libraries in Clark County. And so we would be lucky to get one. And if we did get one, it would cost us about $300 a week to do it. We've looked at going back into a school, and when we were in the school that we were in before, we paid almost $400 a week for that. And all of that, yes, we have the money right now, but it eats away at what we will have to complete our building. And so for the meantime, it doesn't seem to be cost-effective or prudent to look at alternatives right now. So we're continuing on this path for right now. We have December's services planned already for the 4th and the 18th. The 18th is going to be a holiday celebration. We've got all 3 of our vocalists coming in, and so it's going to be a service rich in music and still keep it within the hour time frame that we're committed to doing. And so I just want you to know that your leadership council has really been active in planning and looking at alternatives for us meeting in our space here, in our new home. So, you know, this theme of home for November, we've looked at Las Vegas as our home when Clay T spoke a little about the history of Las Vegas. And then we've looked at roots and wings, the things that we learn in our home that give us that foundation we need to grow, and then the courage to take flight and to move out from our homes. This week we are looking at HOME as the acronym H.O.M.E, which stands for Healing Opportunities Manifesting Everywhere. And I can't help but think that this home behind me and the community that we've built together is where those healing opportunities manifest so richly for us. They are available through all of the things that we do here at Centers for Spiritual Living. This idea of home, healing opportunities manifesting everywhere, is such a powerful force. When I came here, I honestly didn't think I had much to heal in my life. My life seemed to be pretty good. I was working quite well. But as I look back on myself over the last 17 years, and I look at all of the limiting beliefs that I've released, all of the health challenges that I've overcome, all of the new ways of thinking that I've developed, all of the spiritual practices that I've learned here, I can't help but think that this spiritual community, this spiritual home, provided those healing opportunities for me. Some of you who knew me back in 2005, I was quite a different person back then, very introverted. I never would have been up here talking, that's for sure. In fact, I hid in the bookstore for quite a bit of time, just gleaning things, listening and learning and observing and taking classes and practicing and experimenting with these ideas, these principles, this philosophy. You know, as a perpetual student, the classes were very powerful for me. They gave me a place to learn intellectually until I reached a point where it became embodied within me. But it was a comfort zone for me. I could learn intellectually. I've done that all my life. That was easy for me to do. I participated in many different small groups. And in those small groups, I found a place of openness and compassion and support that I needed to move through those challenges that I didn't even know I had in my life. When I started here, I weighed about 450 pounds, and I was taking 13 different prescription medicines a day just to make it through the day. I now take blood pressure medicine, and I weigh just over 300 pounds. So my health has healed itself. I moved through an experience of cancer that probably would have taken me down if it had happened 15 years prior to it. But my experience of cancer, well, if I could have described the perfect way to move through a cancer experience, my experience far exceeded that. It was done within 3 hours of me getting the diagnosis. I knew the process was done. I just had some steps to take to move through it. But I knew the healing had already taken place in my life 3 hours after I received the diagnosis. I went to my mentor, my friend, and my colleague at the time. Right after I left the doctor's office and went right to her house, and before I left the house, I knew I was healed. It was just simply an understanding of the truth and the nature of spirit and what was the guiding and directing force of my life. So in this community, I have found healing opportunities manifesting themselves everywhere, all the time for me. And I know that we have that available for everyone that comes into our presence. When we take the opportunity to take classes and to learn these spiritual principles, and then are given a safe space to try out the spiritual practices that we have here that are so powerful. Well, I know my life changed, and I know many of you whose lives have changed because of it. And I know that we have an amazing gift to offer to the rest of the world. And I can't wait till we can get in the building and bring people in here and expose them to these wonderful things that we have to offer. You know, this week in our country is the biggest travel week of the year. And it's everybody going home. Everyone going to whatever it is they call home. to spend the holidays, the Thanksgiving holidays, with their family, with their loved ones. The airports are busier. The roads are busier. Because people want to be together in community, to share the gratitude they have for that community. And so one of our most powerful practices is that practice of gratitude. It is actually the most studied spiritual practice of all. I thought it was meditation, but when I looked it up a few days ago, it was gratitude. Gratitude has had more scientific research done on it than any other spiritual practice out there. Because gratitude actually changes our brain structure. Gratitude creates new neural networks within our brain that actually change the physical structure of it. And gratitude is so powerful because it produces two of our most important hormones. It produces dopamine and serotonin, which make us feel good. So when we practice gratitude, we feel good about it. We feel good about things in our life that we didn't even know we felt bad about. We feel good about things in ways that we could never even understand when we engage in that practice of gratitude. So, as I said, we've been working on getting into this building, and I asked the Ministry of Prayer, our practitioners and ministers, to hold an affirmation for our community in their consciousness throughout our time. I want to read it to you and make sure I get it right. So the affirmation I asked them to hold was, every step of the upcoming process of securing all the various building permits moves along faster than it's ever been known to happen before, and our contractor is able to start and finish the build-out of our new space in record time and within budget. I wanted to try to cover all of our bases there. And we have seen movement. We have seen movement using this spiritual practice of holding an affirmation in our consciousness. Excuse me. We had our contractor tell us early on in the process, my goodness, this is happening fast. Because there was a speedy start to getting our building permits. And he said, I don't think it's ever happened this fast before. And I thought, well, look at that, prayer works. Who would have thought? Well, thank you. So, and then we had this little bit of a delay, and now we're back on track. We're moving forward. We're making forward progress with our obtaining our building permits. So I thought that maybe we could take this most studied and most powerful practice of gratitude and apply it to our new home here. And so when you came in, you were given a clipboard with an index card on it and a pen. And so I'm going to take you through a little contemplation here, and we're going to do a little bit of gratitude specifically about our spiritual home here. Specifically about what it is we are creating here. After all, our spiritual practices work. And we know this when we apply them. And so when we have a situation, we have a condition, we have something we're experiencing, we apply our spiritual practices to it, and we see change. So let's experiment here this morning with a little gratitude practice about our spiritual community that we have here. So, if you would, and you're comfortable, actually, even if you're not comfortable, because I don't think transformation happens when we're comfortable. I think it happens when we're not. That's been my experience anyway. So, something needs to happen to make us want to change. So, if you would, close your eyes. And just take in a few deep, conscious breaths. So just begin to scan your body and see if you can find a place within your being that you feel peace or that you feel connected. Some might say this is the place where I feel the presence of the One. For me, it's right here in the middle of my chest. As I place my hand on my chest, I call that my heart center. And just spend a moment or two breathing into it. Breathing into that place of deep connection, that place of peace. Now I want you to think back to when you first found this community or this teaching or this philosophy, this way of being. And just think back to how it felt to be surrounded by people who think like you. To be surrounded by people who are looking for something deeper, something more meaningful. To be surrounded by people who are looking for a way to overcome the conditions of their life. Think about how you felt when you first felt like you belonged in spiritual community. Now, as you move forward from the time when you first found this movement, this philosophy, this way of being, think about some of the experiences that you've had along the way. Think about the things that challenged you. And the things that changed you. Think about how your life has opened up because of this spiritual community, this home. Think about the new ideas that you've learned, the new ways of being that you've embodied. The spiritual practices that you've made your own. What is it that keeps you coming back here? What have you found here that you can't do without? Is there something you found here that you can't wait to share with others? And so now, after reflecting on these questions, what is it about this spiritual community that you are most grateful for? And as those ideas begin to come to you, take a moment and write them down on the index card on your clipboard. What is it you're most grateful for about this spiritual community? There are lots of ways that we can practice gratitude. Writing down what we are grateful for on a daily basis is one of those ways. But another way that is equally, if not more powerful, is to speak our gratitudes aloud. So if you would, turn to somebody near you and share what you're grateful for about our spiritual community. So speaking our gratitude to each other is really powerful. Another powerful thing that you can do with your gratitude is to include it in your treatment work, into your prayer work. And so we're going to do that right now. I'm going to take us into a spiritual mind treatment. And our fourth stage of spiritual mind treatment is gratitude. And so I will make a statement, something like, and now we share our gratitudes together. And I want you to speak your gratitude out loud in unison for us as part of our spiritual mind treatment. So if you would, take a moment and once again turn within to that place of consciousness, to that place where the Spirit is felt. And from this place of deep, abiding peace, I know that there is only one. One infinite, creative, love intelligence that has brought each and every one of us into existence. That has created the ground beneath our feet and the air that moves all around us. That has created each and every one of us in its own image and likeness, in perfection, in love. And instilled within us that clarity and that wisdom and that intelligence that is moving through all life, showing up perfectly as each and every one of us. I know that we are each a divine and perfect emanation of the One, endowed with all that that One is. And so in complete realization of this, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, we are standing on holy ground. For the presence of the divine is right here. It is in the earth beneath our feet. It is in our bodies. It is in the building behind us. It is everything and all things. For nothing exists outside of this one. And I know that within this one, all things are possible. That this infinite intelligence knows and does just exactly the right and perfect thing for each and every one of us in every moment of our existence. I know that each one of us is completely aligned with that one, whether we realize it or not. It is the truth of who we are. And I know that our spiritual community is also in perfect alignment. It is unfolding with ease and grace and manifesting itself as a healing presence, not only for this community of beloved people, but for our entire community that surrounds us. In fact, it is a healing presence for the world. I know that this is the truth. And I am so, so grateful to feel it and to know it. And so I just give us all a moment right now to express our gratitude for this amazing community that we have here. So if you would, speak out your gratitudes now. And so for this and so, so much more, we are eternally grateful. And we release this word into the law, into that creative mind, into that divine intelligence that is always outpicturing itself as our highest and greatest good. We release it, we let it go. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.